This example is quite similar to your homework assignment. So here in my region, in this example, I have only three industries: agricultural, service, and manufacturing. So I provide you the employment for those industries for my study region and also for my nation. And now I want you to compute the location quotients for every industry in this region. And therefore, you need to compute three location quotients, one for agricultural and one for service, another one for manufacturing. So here is a formula for computing location quotients for specific industry in your region. So technically, you look at the share of a specific industry in your region, and also you look at the share of that same specific industry in the country, in the nation, and then you take ratio of those share. You divide the region's share by the country's share, and that's location quotient. And for using this formula, you need to know every employment, the employment information for every industry, as well as the total employment for your region and for the nation. But unfortunately, you don't have the total employment, but you do know what's the employment for every industry. And therefore, if you add up those employments, it will be the total employment for your region and for your country. And therefore, add up those three industries' employment for a region, and you will have your total employment for a region. That's 15,000. And for the nation, the total employment is 4 million employments. And now you have every information to do the calculation for location quotients. So here's the information for your region. You do know your agricultural employment is 1,000. Your service employment is 6,000. Your manufacturing employment is 8,000, and your total employment is 15,000. And for the nation, you do know your agricultural employment is 100,000, your service employment is 1.5 million, and then your manufacturing employment is 2 million, and then the total employment for the whole nation is 4 million. And now you can begin to calculate for the location quotient for every industry. So let's first do the agricultural. So according to the formula, location quotient of agricultural is share of agricultural employment in the region divided by the share of agricultural share of the agricultural employment in the nation. And therefore, if you plug in those numbers, in the region, you have 1,000 out of 15,000 people working in the agricultural industry. That's about 7%. And in the nation, you have 13% of workers working in the industry of agriculture, and therefore if you take the ratio, it's 0.53, and therefore the location quotient for agricultural industry in your region is 0.53. That's because of your region have lower than the national average share of agricultural employment, and this location is smaller than one that indicates that your region may have a weakness in agricultural. Similarly, you can work on the service industry. So here's a formula is to take the share of service employment in the region divided by the share of service employment in the nation. And if you plug in the number, the share of service employment in the region is 0.4, 40% of workers in the region working in the service industry, and in the country it's 38% of workers working in the service industry, and therefore your location quotient is 1.07. Your region does have higher than the national average share of workers working in the service industry. That gives a higher than 1 location quotient, and this indicates that your service industry may be more competitive than the nation's than the national economy, and therefore your region may have a strength in this area. And another industry is manufacturing. So for the location quotient of manufacturing, you look at the share of manufacturing employment in a region divided by the share of manufacturing employment in a country. And in the region, you have 53% of workers working in the manufacturing industry, and in the nation, you have 50% of workers working in this industry. And your location quotient is 1.07. That's bigger than 1. That means your region's economy may have a strength in manufacturing as well. So if you look at across those three numbers, your region's economy is kind of weak in agriculture but stronger in service and manufacturing. That may indicate that your region's economy is kind of an urbanized economy other than a rural economy.